when Leah, spoke at the beginning with the gun telling
Yeah.
that the guy brought the gun. It was like a normal thing because trans girls, play tricks on men. Like they blackmail them. They oftentimes would demand more money. Maybe guys, don't, guys have sex with these girls and don't want to pay them. So they're all going into these situations uncertain of the outcome.
Kokomo City premieres in theaters on July 28th, and I got a chance to watch the film last night. It's a very powerful look at the Black transgender community, but ultimately, what made you want to direct and produce a film that focuses on this group?
Well, there was a number of reasons, and whenever people ask me that, I always stutter because there's so much happening in my life as a trans woman, but also as a creator. I was burnt out as a creator from the music industry. And really, I honestly, truly had no idea how I was going to support myself and take care of myself or get back on my feet, improve myself as a creator. And the idea came to do Kokomo City by way of me just taking pictures around the city in New York in black and white on my phone. And I showed it to someone I was living with, barely knew, and he loved the images, and I said, I want to do a documentary. I really want to do a documentary. I want something. I want to do something more than this. I want to do something. I want to take this to another level, and asked him if he could buy me a camera and a lens. And this is someone that didn't have money, but he had a credit card or something, and we were able to get the camera. And then I started looking for the girls, online or through friends and just doing some due diligence for a couple of months and started the process.
Yeah, that was the next question I'm going to ask you about the girls, because it takes a look for transgender sex workers, 2 in New York, 2 in Atlanta. So you met these girls online. You had no relationships with them beforehand, right?
No, wow. I didn't know any of them. But, it's kind of like, even though I wanted to do this film, I still wanted stars. Like I still wanted to find girls that were going to just give me everything I needed. And when you're as a filmmaker, when you're looking for subjects, you want to be respectful and you want to be kind of like, dignified. But I think that the smart thing to do is just to be true to who you are and find who do you think is going to represent what you're trying to do. And I wanted to find badass girls that had, sass and weren't shy or, too political, that could really get into a real conversation, and that's what I got. I got some stars.
Absolutely. I think one of the other things that stands out with this film is it's all done in black and white. And I think it makes it stronger than just makes it look stronger. So what made you want to take that route with the film?
Well, exactly to your point, I mean, foremost, I didn't want to make a film that felt like anyone else's, I get bored and frustrated just thinking about what it could have been. I wanted to, my angle was already to do something different and fun and provocative in terms of just like fresh and genuine, right? And authentic. But I wanted it to feel elevated too. I didn't want it to feel cheap or raunchy. I wanted it to be an artistic, elevated film.
Yeah.
And so there's no other way, than to do black and white on these girls that usually would be, filmed, in a different way, just non-creative way.
Right. And Kokomo City made its way to the Sundance Film Festival and won multiple awards. So what was your reaction when you learned that the film has earned such positive praise at Sundance?
Oh my gosh. It took me some time, to be honest with you, for it to really sink in what this all meant and happening. Obviously, while it was happening, I knew it was an honor and it was prestigious, but it didn't stop. It was another award. It was another, article. It was another, email. It's like it never stopped, and I never got a chance to just stop and go, oh shit, what's happening? It was just, I'm always grateful for every opportunity, everything. But Sundance absolutely changed my life. It gave me a second chance. I had given up. I was burnt out. I was done, and I didn't have too many other choices on how to get back on my feet. And so being acknowledged and seen in Sundance really was just very gratifying.
Of course. And I know this film is very personal to you, but what was the best part of working on this documentary?
Editing.
Yeah.
And it was like, I mean, the girls were a joy, obviously, but the editing, I saw what I filmed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. And I was able to learn about the power of editing and what I wanted to see. I had control of what I wanted people to see and stuff that I did not want people to see or to judge or to pick at. I was in control, and having that control was very empowering and it was very deserving. I felt like I deserved to have that opportunity to tell these girls' stories in the best way.
Right. And with that, what would you say was the most challenging part when it comes to working on this film?
The consistency of money flow. I didn't have support. Any royalties that I got from the music that I've done, wasn't like it was in 2014, that's for sure. But, every little bit helped, and I put it towards maintaining myself and continually to do the film, whether it was traveling or, what have you. But not having consistent funds was probably the most challenging, but everything else really worked out.
Right. And, after watching this film, I learned a lot about the transgender community, specifically with sex workers and what they had to deal with on a daily basis and the dangers that comes with it. So what was the biggest thing you learned what was the biggest thing you learned after working on this film?
I wouldn't say the biggest thing, but something that really caught me off guard and really put into perspective the depth of this whole entire world of sex workers and clients and procedures and my God, was when Leah, spoke at the beginning with the gun, telling that the guy brought the gun. It was like a normal thing because trans girls, play tricks on men, like they blackmail them. They oftentimes would demand more money. Maybe guys, don't. Guys have sex with these girls and don't want to pay them. So they're all going into these situations uncertain of the outcome. Even the guys, they're going into these situations of not knowing how smooth it's going to go, if it's going to be a respectful transaction. That's so scary to me that you don't know who you're dealing with, and what they're bringing to your home or what circumstances you're being by the end of that encounter. That's crazy.
Very crazy. I totally agree. And, when Kokomo City premieres nationwide on July 28th, what do you want people to take away from it after watching it?
That, oh God, man. I want people to take away that we as trans people, as queer people, are a part of the Black community. And that is very important that trans women, especially these girls, are not the villains. They're not to be villainized in these situations. And it's not necessarily to blame the men either. I don't want anybody villainized in this, but I do want people to understand that men are sneaking and hiding because of childhood trauma, not being able to express themselves as children. And it's not in a sexual way. I'm not saying that, I'm just saying as children, allow Black men to express themselves emotionally without calling them gay or faggots or beating them or whipping them or being embarrassed of them. Children are very sensitive and very delicate, and our minds as children could be formed into anything and it sticks with us forever. So if a Black man is taught that doing certain things is gay or soft or not acceptable or is disgraceful, or, you take that and if a guy, is attracted to trans women or a gay man or whatnot and can't express that to anyone, that creates a DL man, and that creates more of the problem. And that, that's the situation with Coco, rest in peace. It's like, there's no reason why she should have been shot to death other than, this guy, I wasn't there. I don't know what happened, but him being embarrassed or being angry of who she is, and we all have bottled up emotional trauma in our community, Black people. We all do. And it's just, this is my way of us opening up that conversation of how we communicate with one another.
Absolutely. Well, Dee, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. Again, congratulations on Kokomo City and continued success to you.